The best part about 9/11 was, A, it woke us up. It helped wake us up as a country. Reminded us that there are evil people in this world that want to kill us. We always need to be reminded of that. And it gave this country a renewed appreciation for the men and women who serve. It taught young people, especially, such an important lesson. That men and women, that as you walk about your day, 20-year-old, on your BlackBerry and your iPad, and you go to whatever school you go to, and you spout off against this country, from 9/11 on, 12 years later, these young people and all the rest of us, every day in the newspapers or on whatever show they watch, hear about and see young men and women who died that day. That's a sad, tragic thing. But it's a good thing for the rest of us to be reminded of that. How sad that it takes a war and it takes American men and women dying every day to remind us to appreciate the men and women who have served. Especially young people in this country. Young people in this country sometimes just need a boom, a quick pop in the face. I'm kidding, guys. In many ways, they're just so... hold on, Roman. The final wonderful thing about these heroes, men and women who serve and who have served, is they don't think of themselves as heroes. They hate recognition. They don't talk about what they did. You've heard me tell this story before. John McCain, no matter what you thought of John McCain, a hero, correct?
Right.
He had to be dragged, kicking and screaming, by his political staff to talk about his service when he ran for president. It's the military code. You know veterans just like I know veterans. They don't talk about what they did. They don't talk about their service. They don't want recognition. It's what makes them uniquely special. We recognize them. We call them heroes for our benefit, not theirs. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we need to, every day, I go off on this subject a lot, and I've been doing it for 2 years. This has nothing to do with the fact that I'm running against a woman who served. I've been doing this from the day I got sworn in. That's all right. That better be an important call. Tell the president to call back. Okay. We're on baby alert over there.
That's important.
I am in awe and have the utmost respect for everyone who served, including my opponent. I find it just amazing. They need to be recognized constantly, because we say the pledge, you know, we always say the pledge to remind ourselves of what this country was founded upon: freedom, freedom, freedom. Nothing more complicated than freedom. Democrats and liberals and too many Republicans try to make it more complicated than that. It's not. It's not. It's all about freedom. Men and women, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, from the founding of this country, have died and been hurt and been forever scarred to defend that freedom. That demands our respect. So, if you wore the uniform of this country, if you served, raise your hand or stand up and be recognized. Please. Don't you hate it when I do that? Welcome, everybody. A couple quick thoughts, and then we'll jump into Q&A. I want you to spread the word throughout the land. The land being this new 8th district. I want you to spread the word throughout this new 8th district. That not only is this race, Walsh against Duckworth, going to be one of the most high-profile races in the country, it's going to be a civics lesson in two distinctly different ways of how to run to get your vote. You know me, very little subtle about me, right? Joe Walsh is always on the news, on the YouTube, whatever. Why is that? Why am I always on YouTube? Why am I always in the news? Why is it always Joe Walsh said that? You know why? Because Joe Walsh is always out there. No member of Congress does this more than me. I want to say that again, because right now I don't feel well. I'm a little sick. But nothing would stop me from doing this. No member of Congress, Republican or Democrat, does this more than me. What is this? This is, we do a little robocall. We tell you Joe Walsh is going to be here in Elmhurst, again, Saturday afternoon at 1. If you want to come talk to him, give him a piece of your mind, come here. Republican, Independent, Democrat. There'll be no media in between us. Nobody screens you at the door for your opinion. Nobody asks you to write your question down. You just come and you let me know what you think. It's what I've been doing for almost 2 years. To try to get reelected in this crazy new district, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to try to shake every hand I can during this campaign. I'm going to be out in this district night and day trying to meet as many people as I can. Why do I do that? As tiring as it is, why do I do that? Here's why I do that. This is the most important election in your lives. If we don't get this election right, this country may never recover. To make sure we get this election right, you need to tell me what you think. I need to hear what you think. I need to hear from as many people as possible. So that's what Walsh is going to do. And yeah, Walsh has to try to do all the other stuff, raise a lot of money, hopefully have enough money for commercials, all the other things that campaigns are about. That's what I'm going to do. Over here you got Tammy Duckworth. You want to know what kind of campaign Tammy Duckworth's going to run? I'll tell you, the exact opposite. If I'm going to try to get in front of as many people, friend or foe, she's going to avoid people. She's been told stay away. She doesn't like to get directly in front of people. She's going to film Joe Walsh. If Joe Walsh is going to be out there with the voters, Tammy's going to film Joe Walsh out with the voters. What a crazy way to run a campaign. Why film Joe Walsh? Where are you, Tammy? But what Tammy's going to do is, her people have told her, raise a lot of money, film Joe Walsh, because he's always saying things, and then we'll do a bunch of commercials at the end of the campaign, telling everybody Joe Walsh is this crazy guy, and then we'll do a lot of commercials talking about my war service, her war service. That's all they're going to do. So her strategy is avoid people, raise a lot of money, do a lot of commercials. I don't know who's right. This is the only way I can run a campaign, win or lose. I just think that starting in 2010, something different hit this country. And we're sick of politicians, and we should be. We're sick of Republicans and Democrats who stay in Washington for 100 years, and we should be. We're sick of politicians who don't have the courage to get in front of voters day and night. So I don't know if Tammy's strategy is going to work this year. I think there's something going on in America where we've had it. I think a lot of people in this country finally, thank God, finally get how much trouble we're in as a country. We have a president who was never, ever, ever, ever ready to get elected. As a country, we stopped thinking 4 years ago. And we elected this historic figure. Never ready to be president, had never done anything, had never run anything, had never managed anything, ever. But you know what? He was a historic figure. He got the media all excited. He got young people all excited because it was something different. And we elected him. Now we sit almost 4 years later with the consequences of that. America may have made you feel like $1 million to elect your first African American president. May have made you feel like $1 million to elect this anointed historic figure. But now you're living with the consequences of that, because now you know, like almost the whole country knows. And you know what, guys? Most Democrats, even though they won't admit it, know. Yeah, you know what? He never really was ready to be president. I hear that over and over in private. Most Democrats in Congress privately know that. They can't say it publicly. So now we've seen a guy who's destroyed the American economy. No surprise, guys, because he never understood business. Now we see a guy who has taken 1/6 of our economy and dumped this healthcare thing on top of us. No surprise, because he doesn't understand small business and he doesn't understand how markets work. We have a guy who's telling the Catholic Church, I don't care what you believe. I don't care about your faith. I'm going to force you to pay for and provide a service that goes against your faith. So it's not a surprise that we have a guy who steps all over our Constitution. He doesn't understand it. He was never ready. None of this is surprising. I was on the radio a bunch yesterday with the latest thing that Obama did. Oh, isn't this outrageous, what he did with illegal immigration? Yes, it is, I said. I was actually pretty calm for Joe Walsh. But I said, truthfully, Steve, none of this is surprising. I could have told you this 3.5 years ago. We elected somebody who wasn't ready. I can't imagine we'll re-elect him. I can't imagine the American people now haven't woken up and now they understand, even if I voted for him because it made me feel proud, oh my God, look what he's doing to the country. But it's close, guys. I got in a lot of trouble a couple weeks ago because of these guys. Everybody taping me. And Joe Walsh was taped saying, the Democratic Party, their goal in life is to make everybody dependent upon government. I believe that. So I'll say it again for you, Tammy. The goal of the Democratic Party is to make everyone dependent upon big government. They have done it with African Americans. Shame on the Democratic Party for doing that. Jesse Jackson, sorry Jesse, would be out of work if he couldn't scream racism every day and if they weren't trying to get African Americans dependent upon government. It's what they do. It's not surprising, because once I've got you dependent upon government, you're going to vote for me every 2 years or 4 years, because they're the party of government. We saw it play out up in Wisconsin. You know, you saw the two Americas up there. Those people who had their government, and by the way, everybody do me a favor. We're not going to call them public sector employees. Government sector. There's the private sector, all of us who work out in the real world, and there's the government sector, not public sector, government. So you got all these government sector employees saying, don't you touch my benefits, don't you touch my benefits, and the rest of Wisconsin saying, I want to live in a free state. I want a state to grow. I want businesses to come to my state. I want my taxes to be low. I want to keep more of my own money. And away you go. And Wisconsin spoke loud and clear. Someday soon, this is going to hit Illinois. Someday soon, this is going to hit Illinois. It's hitting every state. I'll close with this. The reason this election is so important, and I hope and you're young, so I keep looking at you, and I don't know where you stand. But I hope and pray